can I just make sure every one of you has a very small piece of tutorial? Okay, so today we will go through tutorial 1 of ionic equilibrium, okay, which is on part 1 of the chapter. Yeah, so I hope you have looked through the tutorial. Later we will be discussing some of the questions. Okay. Before that, let me do a brief recap on part 1 of ionic equilibrium and what we have looked at. So firstly, we have looked at Bronsted acid-base theory. So I told you that this is one of the few theories that we can use to define acid and a base. Okay. So according to this theory, can someone tell me what is the definition of a Bronsted acid? How about wait, do you still remember? Yeah. Okay. So when we talk about Bronsted theory, we are looking at the transfer of protons. Okay. So for acid, it's a species which accepts proton, which donates proton. For a Bronsted base, it's a species which accepts proton. Okay. Then we look at the strength of an acid and base, and I told you not to mix up the strength with its concentration. Okay. So when we're talking about the strength, we're actually looking at the maybe you know when I'm talking about the strength of an acid, what am I referring to? Ka. Okay. But then I'm actually looking at how easily. Yeah, okay, how easily the dissociation of the proton, okay, or how easily the proton can be transferred. Okay, when I'm talking about the concentration, I'm actually looking at the amount of how many molecules of acid I have in the solution. Okay, so it's nothing to do with the dissociation. Okay, so this case here, I have a strong acid and at equilibrium, then a lot of it has already dissociated, and the content of the solution, most of it is in ions. Okay, whereas for the weak acid, okay, it only dissociates to a small extent, and most of the content in the solution is still SH3 molecules. Okay, so we next look at the indicator of some acid-base strength, and I'll introduce to you 3 different indicators. We'll look at that in tutorial questions. And then lastly, okay, the calculation of weak acid and bases. So for these 3 indicators, one of it is the degree of dissociation. And mentioned that it is not a very reliable indicator because it varies with concentration. Okay, do you still remember what is the relationship between the degree of dissociation and concentration for a weak acid? Do you remember? Yeah.
Inversely related.
Yeah, they're inversely related. Okay, this is only for a weak acid. So just imagine, for example, if I have a solution of very weak acid, okay, if I have a high concentration, there will be less water molecule around the acid to actually deprotonate the proton. Okay, whereas if I have a more diluted acid, there will be more water molecule around, and the deprotonation can take place more easily. Okay. Then next we look at pH and pOH, and again it's not a very reliable indicator because of the variation with concentration and basicity. And lastly we look at Ka and Kb, and why is it a more reliable indicator? Because it does not vary with concentration. Okay? So this table here summarizes the expression for Ka and Kb in terms of the variables that's expressed here. Okay, so this is a simple one. Ka is just 10 to the power of minus pKa, and the same thing applies for Kb. Okay, for this expression here, okay, do you still remember what is the reason I give you for why is water not inside this expression for Ka? Why is it so? Okay, water is a very large volume. Okay, so very large volume. Okay, so for example, if I have 1 dm cube of water, okay, can anyone tell me what is the concentration of water in 1 dm cube of solution? 55.6. Okay, how do you look it up? Izzo?
1000 divided.
Okay, because we take the density of water to be around 1 gram per cm cube. Okay, so we have 1000 gram over the mole is 18, we get 55.6 mole per dm cube. Okay, so imagine if I have 1 mole of a weak acid and I have 55.6 mole of the water. Okay, if 0.1% of the acid reacted with the water, okay, so 0.1% I'll left with minus 0.01, I'll get 0.99, okay, so the change will be, do you see the change is actually very small? Okay, so therefore we can actually take the concentration of water to be essentially constant. Okay, and therefore we can rearrange it to give you the Ka. Okay, and we do the same thing for Kb. Okay, and then this is the simplified version for Ka. Okay, taking the 1:1 ratio between H2O plus and A minus. Okay, and again we are making some assumption here. Okay, later as we look through the withdrawal fraction, I'll emphasize it a little bit. Okay, and lastly, Ka expressed in terms of degree of dissociation. Okay, so we will make use of all these relationships between Ka, Kb, and the rest of the variables here, okay, to do our withdrawal fractions. Okay, so I hope you all have looked at your withdrawal fraction. If not, okay, I'll give you 30 seconds to look through, and then I'll have someone up to do the questions for me, and then we will look through them. Okay, can I have Eileen to do, wait, can I have Ying to do for me question A and B? Eileen, can you help me do question C? Okay, for D we will discuss it together. Okay, and then can I have Hui Min, can you come and do question 2? Okay, so.
等会儿。
Okay, the rest of you, I expect you to answer some questions later. Okay, while they are doing the question, okay, can you see if they actually miss out anything, okay, or did they look up correctly? Okay, can we look at 1A first? Okay, with the aid of the balance equation, explain the characteristic acid. Okay, so in this case here, okay, can I get Genji, can you tell me which of it is the balance acid in this equation here? Yeah, okay, because it, as in why do you call it acid? Okay, so it provides a proton and become OCl minus. Okay, so water is acting as a base. Okay, so in this case, okay, can anyone still remember what is the relationship between the Bronsted acid and the conjugate base? Okay, and its corresponding conjugate base. How about Wei Li? Yeah. If the acid is stronger, does the conjugate base is the conjugate base stronger or weaker? Weaker. Okay, so the stronger the acid, the weaker will be its conjugate base. Okay. Also, looking at this equation here, is there any change in oxidation state between for the chlorine atom or the chlorine? How about okay, Pratik, why do you say no? It remains as
+1.
okay, +1. Okay, so remember this is an acid-base reaction, so there's no change in oxidation state. Okay, that's for a redox reaction. Okay, for part B, it's quite straightforward. Just apply what you learned, and then you can see that the ratio works out to be 6.3:1. Okay, so the pH changes by less than 1 magnitude. Okay, but as you can see here, concentration of H plus actually changes by 6-fold. Okay, so this shows that a pH increase of 1 will actually lead to how many fold increase? Have you all tried keying in your calculator?
10.
Okay, 10 times. Okay, so increase of 1 pH will lead to 10-fold increase in the H plus concentration. Okay, so we will spend more time discussing part C here. Okay, so I have the pKa value given to me in the question. Okay, so this will allow me to calculate my Ka value quite easily. Okay, so I get this value here. What does this value of Ka tells me about the strength of the acid? How about Jinshen?
The value is quite small, so the acid is a weak acid.
Yes, okay, it's a weak acid because this value is very small. If you remember what I told you during the lecture. Okay, so equilibrium will lie more favorable to the right, to the left. Okay. Okay, so can anyone see the whiteboard? Okay, so this one here we are actually looking at this particular equation. Okay, so we work out to be
叫平轩ก่อน marker
Okay, so according to this particular expression for for Ka, okay, because H plus and A minus exist in a 1-to-1 ratio, and therefore we can use this particular expression for Ka and do a bit of rearrangement to get my expression for Ha. Okay, so what assumption am I making use here? By taking this value, or rather, what am I assuming here?
Weak acid.
It's a weak acid. Okay, so the equivalent concentration of the acid can be assumed to be the initial concentration of the acid. Okay, if you still remember the assumption that you made during the lecture. Okay, so we end up with this value. Okay, and then when we calculate degree of dissociation alpha, okay, we are making use of this particular expression. Okay, why do we make use of this particular expression? Again, because from the earlier calculation, we already see that this is actually a very weak acid. Okay, and what is one more assumption we can make? Or what is one other assumption that we have to make by using this? Only the what happened to the water? Okay, is water also inside the solution? Okay, but however, we are actually neglecting the contribution by water. Okay, so we assume that the H plus concentration comes only from the acid. Okay? Okay, I would like to point out to this particular part. Okay. Okay, let's look at this Okay, previously during the lecture, I noticed that some of you were confused between degree of dissociation and pH. Do you still remember I told you about pH? Okay, you are actually, in this case here, you see that the H plus concentration, okay, actually decreases, okay, but for my alpha it actually increases. Okay, you all find it confusing as to why is it so? Okay, you all understand what am I trying to say?
Yes.
Okay, so this case here I start with a higher concentration. Okay, I have a higher H plus concentration, but my degree of dissociation actually decreased. Okay, so is that confusing to you all? Okay, so I'll just explain it. Okay, maybe I can give you an analogy. Okay, so for example, I have 100 people and 50 people. Okay, that I'm inviting to a party. Okay, so this you can take it as the initial concentration of the acid. Okay, the degree of dissociation alpha can be taken like the number of people who accepted my invitation, or rather the percentage of people who accept my invitation. So this can be around 80%. This can be 95%. Okay, at the end, my H plus concentration and equilibrium can be taken like the number of people who actually go to the party. Okay, so this can be around 80 people, and this is 45. Okay, so do you see, even though I start off with a higher concentration, okay, and the degree of dissociation is smaller, okay, I can still have a higher H plus concentration at the very end. Okay, so actually there is no contradiction between these few variables. Okay, now you'll quickly move on to the next question. Okay, what conclusion can you make? This is quite simple again. Okay, for similar acid, okay, different in concentration will affect both the pH and the degree of dissociation. Okay, thus both are not good indicator of the acid strength. Okay. So this one, okay, if you want to find out more, okay, you can go to this website, but that is not necessary. Okay. Okay, question 2. Have you look at question 2? Okay. How do you go about doing this question? Because in our lecture notes, if you still remember the expression for Kb, I have something like this. Okay? Okay, I have something like this. However, here, okay, it's a little bit more different. Okay, and you are given the Kw, which I have not learned yet. Okay, but they give you the definition of Kw to be Ka multiplied by Kb. Okay, so you are supposed to find the Ka. But this expression here seems to be for Kb. Okay, because you have hydroxide ion on the right hand side. Okay, so you have to make use of this relationship between Kw, Ka, and Kb. Okay, so firstly we need to know Ka will be Kw over Kb. Okay, and then go on to find my Kb. So there's a clue here. Okay, the pH of the solution is 9. So from here, what is the pOH of the solution? 5. Okay, because at 25 degrees Celsius, pH and pOH adds up to be 14. So I have 5. OH minus will be 10 to the power minus 5. Okay. Okay, there's still one more thing that I'm missing out. I don't have the concentration of my A minus at equilibrium. So how do I find that out? Okay, I have to make use of my mole concept. So if you look at the questions, okay, 25 cm cube of 0.1 mole per dm cube require 20 cm cube of an acid for neutralization. Okay, so this will be my initial volume. Okay, multiplied by the concentration. This will be the new mole. Okay, divided by the total volume. Okay, so this will give me the new concentration of A minus at equilibrium. Okay, so now I have all my values here. I can find my Kb. Okay, notice that I'm mixing up the unit for Kb here. Okay, so it's in mole per dm cube.
Concentration is
Sorry? Oh, okay, yeah. So for concentration,
OH
minus. Okay, yeah, mole per dm cube. Okay, so Curtin is very observant. Okay, so after that, then I can find my Okay, so you can just take Kw divided by Kb and you'll get the value for Ka. Okay. Okay, yeah. So that's the end of the tutorial.